There's something about diving headfirst into a brutal game that just feels right. Hellpoint isn't here to play nice, but neither am I. We'll take down all the bosses in our way. Will I come out in one piece, or will I be broken? There's only one way to find out. Welcome to the Conqueror's quest for Hellpoint. Alright, into boss time. ARCHON Slaver, the first boss in Hellpoint. I'm gonna take a stab in the dark and say purple is this guy's favourite colour, but my favourite colour is winning. Let's see who comes out on top. The ARCHON Slaver is a nice warm up. It teaches you the importance of dodging. In Hellpoint, you can dodge at any time, even mid-attack, so best take advantage of that. Even though I have a shield in my hand, I won't actually use it in this fight or most others actually. Keep your distance to bait an attack, then rush in for a counter when he's recovering. Just remember to dodge when you're almost out of stamina, unless you like eating purple laser beams for breakfast. Soon enough, you too will find your freedom, or at least your way to the next boss.
There we go.
Pouncing out of its cage, we've got the Celestial Beast next. This one blinked once as a kid and decided to never miss again. Just look at those eyes. But this also means he'll see us coming if we walk up to him, so a frontal assault isn't the smartest move. Sticking to the side or the back of the beast is your best chance to live long enough to tell the tale. But don't get too comfortable there, because, well, the beast has a tail of its own and is not afraid to whip it. I switched my weapon to the dagger for this fight, which doesn't do the most damage, but attacks are pretty quick, so if you're patient enough, you can slowly chip away at its health bar, and eventually put the beast down.
Not bad.
It's time for some tag team action. Entering the ring, we have the ARISEN Congregators, two bosses with a love for range attacks and teleportation. Divide and Conquer is the name of the game here. Actually it's Hellpoint, but you know what I mean. I trapped one behind a platform, turning this into a much more manageable one-on-one. I just wish I took out the teleporting Congregator first. He becomes very elusive, running away just as my attacks are getting juicy. In some of my previous attempts, he would teleport on top of the platforms, which made it impossible to hit him. I must have got unlucky this run because I kept him down to earth, even though we're in space. That doesn't matter, but what does matter is we have beaten the Congregators.
Oof, that was close, man.
Oh look, OZYORMY GOIJA, the master of puppets, is now showing. One ticket to the Cosmic God Puppet Show, please. Now comes the age-old question, is he a top-tier puppet, or is he the one controlling the puppets? I guess we'll never know. This one took me a few attempts to get his timing down because he had so many attacks and crazy range. Once you do enough damage to his hands, they actually fall off and start chasing you around the arena. They were definitely my least favourite part of this fight. He'll also jump around a lot, give out high fives to the crowd, and finish off with some weird exorcist type hand crawling maneuver. But I think we've seen enough of this interpretive dance routine. It's time to cut the strings. The puppet show is over. Yeah, ignore the fact that I also died at the same time. A win is a win, alright?
I died. What?
We get straight into the next cosmic god for our next boss. Undisturbed DEFAS NEMUNDIS is a pretty chill guy. He's been trying to find inner peace through meditation, but you can tell he still has that dog in him. And by dog, I mean radioactive spirit. If you see anything purple, move. Run far, far away. If you get hit with too much radiation, you start to limit how much total health you have. The spirit's attacks are pretty slow, but have some decent range. If you deal enough damage, you can stagger the Cosmic God and get some really good free hits in. Be sure to watch out for black holes, especially when they start spitting out purple radiation waves. As always, you gotta keep your distance and rush it when it's time to counter. And with that, we take down the second Cosmic God. Apparently the spirit was so angry with me, it launched one final assault after I killed the boss, but that's fine, we still got him.
Man, I got cocky, but it doesn't matter.
Consumer is a very fitting name for the next boss. This dude is so hungry, he has another mouth attached directly to his stomach so he can eat twice as fast. I just hope he got his request for his last meal in before his execution. After dealing with two cosmic gods, this guy feels like a walk in the park. I've already faced a bunch of consumer type enemies before this boss, so it's more of the same. Stay on the offensive, and before you know it, the consumer becomes consumed. Bon appetit.
That was pretty easy.
Continuing our run of easy bosses, we now face our praying hostess. Next time they invite me over for a dinner party, I will disrespectfully decline. Instead of carving up a bit of roast to share with its guest, the hostess decided it would be a great idea to carve up the guest instead. Maybe she was angry because the last person she hosted was consumer, and well, we know how hungry consumer gets. But it's too late to pray for forgiveness. No need to say for dessert, we're out. So I finally got to live out my lifelong dream of being an astronaut, but it turns out space isn't all fun and games. The transporter was hanging out on the ceiling, which is fitting since it looks like a reject xenomorph from the Alien movies. The big astronaut suit was a must in this area, otherwise you would run out of oxygen and die. But the suit made my movements very slow. For the first time I was forced to use a shield instead of relying on dodging. I still managed to play it smart, and with a lot of patience, I would finally be allowed to transport myself out of this nightmare and on to the next challenge.
Oof, there we go.
Artillery is another boss we face countless times as normal mob enemies. This one's just fancy because it has a big health bar at the bottom. I use the classic Dark Souls strategy here. Stay on its rear and poke it with the sharp bit of my axe, and in no time we disarm the artillery.
That was a very poor effort, but...
After I beat the past 4 bosses on my first attempt, we are now met with my most challenging fight in the game. UTHOS the Ashenborn. This was a long and grueling fight. I was definitely doing something wrong here. None of my weapons did any bit of damage to him. This was the boss I died to the most in the whole game. I had to be picture perfect for 100% of the time. One wrong move and you were dead. The best advice I can give for UTHOS is avoid catching on fire, do 1 or 2 hits, then dodge and use your firearm while your stamina recharges. Rinse and repeat. Oh, and most importantly, don't die. It's a very slow process, but it worked for me. UTHOS eventually returned to ashes, which means the 3rd cosmic boss has been defeated.
We finally did it. Jeez.
It's final boss time, Interface. Don't be fooled by my death count, most of these were because I fell down off the side of the arena. Interface is like a robotic scorpion, but instead of hitting you with venom, he has rockets and laser beams in his arsenal. The platforms can be a blessing and a curse. It'll help you avoid most of the laser beams that Interface shoots out, but if you get trapped on the lower floors, you might not be able to jump up in time to do some damage to the digital arachnid. It's basically a game of cat and mouse. Hide behind the structure until there's an opening and hope you can run there in time to do some damage. If you're unlucky like me, the platform Interface hangs on will be slightly lower than his hitbox, so you'll need to jump and attack. I died so many times falling off the ledge because I jumped too far. Now, there's one final run up to the boss for our ultimate strike, and there it is. We have officially conquered Hellpoint. Look how happy I am. Now, let's bring on the stats.